What's up, everybody? It is Broken Havoc here, right here on the Broken Havoc podcast, here to review SmackDown from May 14th, 2021. Overall thoughts on this show? Really, this was not the best show in the world, but really, aside from Jimmy Uso, Roman Reigns, and Jay Uso, and Paul Heyman, and Cesaro, of course, the rest of the show was not the best, but it was not bad. It wasn't like that bad to the point where I wanted to tune out. This show was not in that case bad. If anything, this was not the best show in the world, but it was a pretty good show, in my opinion, at least. It's much better than Raw. I mean, this show ain't perfect at all whatsoever, but at least it's not Monday Night Raw. So, yeah, and of course, Roman Reigns is the single best thing on SmackDown. So Jey Uso introduces Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman and says that when Roman Reigns comes out, basically he says that they have some problems, and he looks straight at Jey Uso. He says he's going to address Cesaro first, says he's like him, he really likes him, and he's like the rest. He likes the rest in the back. He respects him and says that he's a top-tier talent. Says he could be one of the best wrestlers in the world. Roman says he is more than a wrestler, though. He says he's the tribal chief, says WWE does not want a wrestler like Cesaro. SmackDown does not want that, and Fox does not want that. Talks about how Cesaro has 0 title matches, and Roman has 13 and 9 title matches. Later talks about Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Uso proceeds to basically infuriate Roman Reigns. Literally, Roman Reigns is getting pissed at this point. He comes in and says, let's rap. Yeah, then after that, he says that all he's doing is running his mouth, says that while his brother is standing next to Roman like a bitch, he's wearing a shirt that says, you guessed it, nobody's bitch. I'm going to stop right there. That t-shirt, I guarantee you, is going to sell out. That t-shirt looks badass. It's simple, but it looks badass. Nobody's bitch. I really dig that shirt. I need to get my hands on that shirt. I'm being straight up. Says that he cannot beat Cesaro. Reigns says that Jimmy cannot fill the shoes of the Universal Champion, and he basically just goes on a tirade after this. Jimmy says that he would call out Cesaro. Roman is basically getting pissed at this point, and Jimmy legit calls out Cesaro and challenges him to a match before WrestleMania Backlash. So what are my thoughts on this first segment? This segment was really good. I really enjoyed this segment. If you honestly want to watch two guys talk shit to one another, let alone family members talk shit to one another, this is the segment for you. This segment was hilarious. I really enjoyed it. It was not hilarious in a bad way. This is hilarious in a good way. This is a really good segment to start off SmackDown. SmackDown started hot, and throughout the entirety of the show, all focuses was on this particular storyline. First match of the evening. Natalya and Tamina versus Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. Overall thoughts on the match. This match was not the best, but it was not a terrible match. You guys know already, I am not a fan of Shayna Baszler being in a tag team with Nia Jax whatsoever. I think it's really dumb and stupid that Shayna Baszler, who used to be a killer in NXT, goes up to the main roster and basically she has a match with Becky Lynch, in which she lost, by the way. Not only that, she basically went into obscurity and went in the tag team with Nia Jax. But the match starts. Tamina and Nia start. Nia is working on Tamina. We get a tag made by Shayna. Natalya tags in. We get a drop kick to the back of the neck by Natalya. We get a cover and a 2 count. Tamina tags in. We get a slingshot by Natalya into a Samoan drop by Tamina on Shayna. Reginald tries to interfere at this point. Tamina and Nia fight it outside. We get a Samoan drop outside the ring on the barricade. We get a kick by Shayna on Natalya. We get a cover and a 2 count. We get an elbow by Nia on Natalya. We get a cover and a 2 count. Shayna tags in. We get a cover on Natalya and a near fall. Stomps on the elbow of Natalya. We get a double team by both Shayna and Nia. We get a running knee by Shayna. Cover by Nia, and Tamina breaks up the pinfall attempt. Tamina and Shayna both tag in. We get a crossbody by Tamina. We get an elbow in the corner by Tamina. Goes to the top. Shayna targets the foot of Tamina. We get a cover and a 2 count. Goes to the top. Shayna hits Tamina with the knee. Nia tags in. Nia later goes up to the top rope and tries to superplex, but instead, Tamina drops Nia. Shayna tries to get Tamina from the apron. Natalya comes in and hits a German suplex on Shayna Baszler. Nia picks up Natalya for the Samoan drop and then goes for the Superfly Splash and win the match. Natalya and Tamina are the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. After that, Tamina cut a short promo, and both Natalya and Tamina basically cut a short promo, and there was like all fireworks and stuff. This match was not the best match in the world, but it was not bad as well. I mean, it's great that, Tamina and Natalya are Women's Tag Team Champions. Let's hope they go somewhere with it. And let's hope that Shayna Baszler finally gets away from Nia Jackson, let alone becomes her own wrestler or superstar, and literally finally WWE will give her the proper push she deserves. I do think that Shayna will finally get the push she deserves. Let's hope. Let's pray that she gets the push she deserves. Like, honestly, Shayna has just been put into obscurity ever since she was put in the tag team with Nia Jax. Not only that, winning titles that really meant nothing, absolutely. They don't mean anything at all. Because, number one, I don't even want to say number one. Like, there's no actual tag teams in that division, as I stated before, and they need to really fix that. We get a Paul Heyman backstage interview. Says he does not know if Jay Uso can beat Cesaro, but knows Reigns will beat Cesaro this Sunday. So a lot of stuff is going on. We get Apollo Crews versus We get Apollo Crews with Commander Aziz, giving him the Medal of Honor. Says that since he became Intercontinental Champion, he had people come after him, but Commander Aziz helped him, and he brought honor to his country. Says that he may be the Intercontinental Champion for life. Then he later presents Commander Aziz with the Nigerian Medal of Honor, which is not an actual Medal of Honor, nor Commander Aziz is an actual commander. Everybody should know this. Big E is backstage and says that it was a shame that, basically just talks about, this was like probably worse than Macklemore becoming Best Rapper of the Year. It says Apollo still needs to feel his power. Then all of a sudden Sami Zayn comes in. Says Big E is making a joke out of everything. Says that he is holding his Intercontinental Championship. So Sami Zayn, of course, is going through his whole conspiracy theory crap again. Says that if he gives it, he will reclaim his status for the people. Then all of a sudden Kevin Owens comes in, his music plays, and he just walks and then later on runs to the ring. And then Big E comes out of nowhere. Kevin Owens... Aziz and Apollo attack Owens. Big E comes in out of nowhere. Aziz tries to go for the Nigerian nail, but gets sent over the top rope. Sami tries to go for the Helluva Kick, but gets hit with the stunner by Kevin Owens. Owens later slams Big E, and Apollo comes in, but later escapes. So, what does this lead to? Well, you'll find out later on in this review, because a lot of people... They booked a match that a lot of people say should have happened on pay-per-view, but instead it's going to happen next week on SmackDown. Which I would understand if people were mad, but let's be honest. I mean, it's the go-home show before the pay-per-view. I mean, like, it's just like the thing about it is like, what? I mean, I don't want to say what more can they possibly do, because they could have easily just booked the match for the pay-per-view, but still, I mean, like, there would be just no build whatsoever for that match, and it'd make no sense. And we're getting a 1 week build basically on this thing, but not only that, I mean, I feel like. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's a 50-50 thing. I mean, some people think that it should go on pay-per-view. Some people think that it should be on free television. I honestly do not care. I'm fine with it being on SmackDown next week, so that's just me. We get Rey Mysterio versus Dolph Ziggler. So, match starts. Match starts, and both lock up. We get a waist lock by Mysterio. Ziggler comes into the ropes. We get a waist lock by Ziggler. We get a side headlock by Ziggler. We get a shoulder tackle to Mysterio. Side headlock by Ziggler. Mysterio fights back, but Ziggler fights back with a shoulder tackle. We get a side headlock again by Ziggler. Ziggler's taking control. Mysterio takes down Ziggler through the middle rope outside the ring. We get a bottom rope baseball slide by Mysterio on the apron to the outside on Ziggler. Ziggler begins to work on Mysterio. Mysterio tries to go for a springboard crossbody, but misses. Slam by Ziggler. We get a cover and a 2 count. Ziggler continues to work on Mysterio. Mysterio fights back. We get an uppercut by Ziggler. We get a cover and a 2 count. We get a bow and arrow by Ziggler. We get an Irish whip in the corner. Kick by Mysterio in the corner. Ziggler catches Mysterio, but Mysterio counters into a DDT, which looked awesome, by the way. I really enjoyed that spot. Mysterio runs over the top turnbuckle. Mysterio goes to the top. Ziggler goes to the top. Tries to go for a suplex. Mysterio is fighting back. Ziggler goes down. We get a senton from the top rope by Mysterio. We get a kick to the face on Ziggler. We get a cover and a near fall. We get a missile drop kick in the back. He tries to go for the 619 but misses. And then we get a famouser by Ziggler, the famouser. And we get a cover and a 2 count. He tries to go for the super kick. Mysterio counters and tries to go for the 619 again, but Ziggler ducks and hits the super kick. So we got a little super kick party by Ziggler. But what I mean by the super kick party is he only got one super kick party because he only hit one super kick. We get a cover and a 2 count. Slam by Ziggler on Mysterio. Ziggler tries to slam Mysterio again, but applies an inside cradle for the win. Mysterio wins the match, and then after that, Robert Roode tries to attack Mysterio, but Dominic comes in for the save. So, what are my thoughts? I do believe that Mysterio and Dominic will eventually win the tag team titles this Sunday at WrestleMania Backlash. I will talk about that more in my predictions video, but I do believe that they will win the tag team titles because, number one, I am not a fan of Ziggler and Roode, the Dirty Dogs. First off, it's a terrible name for a tag team. And not only that, I don't view Dolph Ziggler as a tag team wrestler. I view him as a singles wrestler. Bobby Roode or Robert Roode, whatever you want to call him, he was a tag team wrestler, but he's no longer a tag team wrestler. He's always going to be a singles guy to people nowadays, especially after his NXT run. So, I mean, let's be straight up. The Dirty Dogs, that's one of the worst names in the history of wrestling tag teams. But I do think Mysterio and Dominic will eventually win the tag titles this Sunday at WrestleMania Backlash, or Backlash, whatever you want to call it. Cesaro is backstage. He's asked about his match with Jimmy Uso tonight. He says that it means the world for him to challenge for the Universal title. Says that he had this dream for a long time. Says that he's not like Roman Reigns. Says that he does not walk around having people to acknowledge him. He yearns his strides. Says that he can and he will beat Roman Reigns at Backlash. Rey and Dominic are backstage, and after that, overall thoughts on the Cesaro segment. Yeah, it was fine. But after that, we get Rey and Dominic backstage after their match. They state that they will make history on Sunday. I already explained that I do believe that Rey and Dominic will win the tag team titles at Backlash this Sunday. Then all of a sudden, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode confront them and state that Dominic does not belong in this business. And then Dominic states this. He says after Sunday, they can call him Baby Champ. And then, literally, Rey Mysterio just looks at him like it was like a whole burn, like Kelso would be like, burn! Literally, he just looked at Dominic and was like, yo, you smoked him. While people like me and everybody else on the television were like, Baby Champ. That's weird. Baby Champ. But, hey, it is what it is. Again, I do believe that Dominic should have just went to NXT first. And, have, maybe a feud with, maybe a Kushida or a Santos Escobar or something like that. I do believe that, he will eventually, have a singles run, but it's not going to be now. He's going to win the tag team titles with his father this Sunday, so that's going to be awesome. We got Bianca Belair. She says that she is the BEST. Says people have been doubting her whole life, but does not listen to them. By not listening to them, I'm talking about her. Bayley laughs on the Titantron via satellite. Says she's not going to be in the same ring tonight as basically Bianca attacked her last week, but says that she will reclaim her title on Sunday. Bianca says it's going to be a tough match for her. Bayley begins to laugh, and then we got all serious Bayley now after this. Bianca talks after that. Well, actually, not only that, the whole seriousness comes after Bianca basically just stated that, Bayley was being thrown down the ramp by the Bella Twins at WrestleMania, and she basically got buried by veterans at WrestleMania. And then, all the seriousness with Bayley just came in. She had that crazy, angry facial expression and says that her reign won't end well for Bianca. So, yeah. After that, what are my thoughts on this segment? This is not a bad segment. I do believe that eventually Sasha Banks will come back, and then, Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks will once again feud again. That's my belief, and Sasha will probably win the belt back in the coming months. But everybody needs to realize that Bianca Belair is going to be going over this Sunday no matter what. So, yeah, it's that. We get Shinsuke Nakamura versus Baron Corbin. The match starts. First off, I don't know why King Corbin is still King Corbin. I mean, like, King Corbin, like, look, throughout this entire match, WWE was, like, constantly mentioning the King of the Ring, King of the Ring, King of the Ring. So, I assume they're probably, most likely, maybe, are going to be bringing back the King of the Ring tournament. If that is the case, awesome. But at the same time, I'm scared because throughout the past few years or the past few times that WWE has been doing the King of the Ring, 2010, 2015, 2019, WWE really just buried the King of the Ring. And what I mean by that is, like, all you basically win when you win the King of the Ring tournament is just a freaking crown, a cape, and a chair. That's it. That's all you win. Oh, back in the day, at least, they had a whole tournament that had its own pay-per-view. Not only that, they would eventually, whoever won the tournament would win a trophy or would win a title shot at SummerSlam. That's what should happen. But no, that's not going to be the case. Instead, you're winning a freaking cape and a crown. I know. It's so amazing. If anything, that's lame, bro. Like, really? Bring back King of the Ring, but, like, make it meaningful. Like, make it matter so, like, people will want to watch SummerSlam. You know what I mean? But the match starts. Both lock up. We get a kick by Corbin. Nakamura hits Corbin with a kick. Nakamura goes to the top, but Corbin hits a right hand. Corbin takes control over Nakamura. We get elbows by Corbin. We get a cover and a 2 count. Drop kick by Nakamura. Kicks and right hands by Nakamura. Nakamura counters Corbin with an armbar. Nakamura applies a triangle on Corbin. Corbin eventually pins Nakamura to the 3 count and actually wins the match, which was really dumb. I don't know why Baron Corbin won. I mean, nobody cares about Baron Corbin at this stage. I mean, in my opinion, King Corbin is one of the worst aspects of WWE as a whole. Like, I'm sorry. Like, he was awesome as Baron Corbin before he won Money in the Bank. And when he won Money in the Bank back in 2017, everybody was, like, so excited until John Cena until John Cena basically cost him the briefcase, the go-home SmackDown before SummerSlam in 2017, which is really dumb, by the way. It was really stupid. But yeah, ever since then, I mean, Baron Corbin has just gone downhill. He became Constable Corbin, which is god awful. Then he became King Corbin. He delivered one of the worst promos in the history of the wrestling business, in my opinion, and still does. I mean, one of my biggest problems with Baron Corbin or King Corbin, whatever the hell you want to call him, is the fact that, like, you don't believe what he's saying. Like, if you're a heel, again, and I stated this in the previous video, there's 2 different types of heat you can get. You get heel heat and go away heat. I believe that Baron Corbin is the type of wrestler. Look, he's a great wrestler, but I just do believe I believe that he's the type of wrestler to get that go away heat because I just don't believe in him when I hear him speak on the microphone. And it's a case where WWE just loves over scripting a lot of people. And I do think that if Baron Corbin was just being Baron Corbin and actually let him cut promos, I do think he can actually cut a good promo. But instead, they're giving him all these scripted lines, and it's terrible. So that's my thoughts on King Corbin. Apollo Crews basically confronts Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce says that he will face Owen, Zayn, Big E in a Fatal 4-Way next week on SmackDown. I already talked about that. And yeah, so there's going to be a Fatal 4-Way next week. Again, as I stated, some people wanted this to be at the pay-per-view. Some people wanted this to be on television. I'm 50-50 on it. Honestly, I don't mind it to be on I don't mind it to be on television next week. So yeah, that is what it is. Nakamura's backstage all of a sudden with his crown. I forgot to mention that Shinsuke Nakamura literally just took the crown of King Corbin and just stole it, basically. He stole his property. But yeah. Aleister Black, Tales of the Dark Father. He says that it can only be tribal by fire. Says father taught him a lesson. Says she is a cruel man. Says you have demons. Says he was cut from steel while you were made from dirt. He says greatness. He wanted greatness and he chose it. He says he could help you, but he won't because you don't listen. So yeah, that was Aleister Black. What do I think? You don't listen basically because you're a spectator. That's what basically Aleister Black said. What are my thoughts on Aleister Black? I think these vignettes are really cool. I do believe that, I feel like they should push him to the moon. They should have already pushed him to the moon. Like, if they had booked not Baron Corbin, my God, if they had booked Aleister Black really well, and was just like having him beat everybody, I would have had him, like, I would have booked him next year for WrestleMania to win the Royal Rumble. Now, granted, what WWE would usually do is that, like, they would have Aleister win the Rumble, but it would just be a last-minute thing. Like, they would have no build whatsoever for Aleister Black at all and just have him win the Rumble. They shouldn't do that with Aleister Black. My instance would be, like, build up Aleister Black for, like, the rest of the year. Let him, like, kind of, like, have, like, those small teases, like that, yeah, Roman, I'm coming for you and I'm going to take your freaking title. Like, something like that. I do believe Aleister Black and Roman Reigns will put on an awesome show. But honestly, who can stop Roman Reigns and who's going to dethrone him? Let's be straight up. Nobody. Jimmy Uso is backstage in Gorilla. He says that he thought his first match was going to be with his brother after, his injury. Says that they are the hottest team in WWE. Says Jay does not need Roman. And says him and his brother will be cool if Roman stays out of it. Says it would be cool if the Usos were the tag team champions and Us, a.k.a. Roman, is the Universal Champion. That'd be a really dope stable. I mean, could you imagine the dream match? The Elite versus, the brothers. The Usos and Roman Reigns versus the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. That'd be the ultimate dream match, bro. I would love to see that match one day. Granted, it's never gonna happen nowadays, but like, come on, one day we'll probably get that match. So yeah, we got Cesaro versus Jimmy Uso, which was easily, in my opinion, the best match of the night. Both two tore the house down, but this match ended in a DQ. But at least we got something good at the end, in my opinion. Both lock up. We get a dropkick by Cesaro. We get a side headlock by Cesaro. We got a shoulder tackle by Cesaro. We get a power slam by Cesaro on Uso. We get a cover and a 2 count. Jimmy tricks Cesaro with a bad knee, but hits a super kick. So that was really dope. I really enjoyed the fact that, Jimmy was just really selling the fact that, he basically came back and is like, oh my God, my leg is still killing me. And Cesaro was just like, oh my God, what's going on? What's going on? And he literally Jimmy Uso just super kicks him out of nowhere. That's awesome right there. Then he hits a Samoan drop on Cesaro. We get a cover and a 2 count. We got a side headlock by Uso. He works on Cesaro. Cesaro picks up Uso and suplexes Uso. He hits an Enzuigiri. No, Uso begins to hit an Enzuigiri. Then we get a cover and a near fall. He runs into the corner, but Cesaro ducks. Cesaro covers Uso. We get a 2 count. Then we later get an uppercut. Cesaro gets sent shoulder first to the ring post and goes outside the ring. Then we later get a suicide dive by Jimmy Uso, but it looks like he hurt his knee when we go to commercial break. We come back from commercial break. Cesaro is just hitting repeated right hands when he comes back. When we come back from commercial break, we get a clothesline and a cover by Cesaro. We get a 2 count. Cesaro tries to go for the springboard uppercut, but Uso kicks Cesaro under the chin. We get a cover and a 2 count. We get a cover and a near fall again. Uso goes to the top, but Cesaro uppercuts him. Suplex by Cesaro on Uso. We get a cannonball outside the ring on Uso by Cesaro. We get an uppercut by Cesaro on the barricade on Jey Uso, or Jimmy Uso, my bad. Takes Uso back in the ring. Reigns all of a sudden out of nowhere attacks Cesaro from behind and causes a disqualification. So this match ends in a disqualification. Granted, no matches tonight ended in a DQ except for this one, so only one match ended in a DQ. If you were watching an episode of Raw, like at least 3 matches would end in disqualification. Jay and Roman argue after, like literally after that, Jimmy. Basically, Jimmy and Roman argue after. I keep confusing Jimmy and Jay. I don't know why. My words are really bad today. But Jimmy and Roman are arguing after. Jimmy leaves. Roman basically wants Jimmy to help him. While in the meantime, Cesaro attacks Jey Uso. Jey Uso attacks Cesaro and basically wants Jimmy Uso to help. Jimmy gets super kicked. Roman eventually walks out. And then then Cesaro hits the neutralizer on Jey Uso, and then he hits the neutralizer on Jey Uso again, while Roman Reigns is just standing there just doing nothing to protect his brothers or his cousins. So what are my thoughts on this match? This match was awesome. I hated the fact that this match ended in a DQ, but the ending really made it for me. I really enjoyed the ending. I love the tension and the story that they're telling between Jimmy Uso and Roman Reigns. I do eventually believe that Jey Uso will join Reigns' faction, if you want to call it that. I do eventually believe that they will just dominate SmackDown for the rest of the year with the Usos winning the tag team titles. Like, this is my prediction when it comes to the tag team titles on SmackDown. I do believe that Mysterio and Dominic will eventually win the tag team titles this Sunday at WrestleMania Backlash. but at the same time, they will not have that a long title run. And then maybe at maybe a SummerSlam or any other maybe pay-per-view before SummerSlam, the Usos will eventually go over in a match with the Usos and in a match between the Usos and Dominic and Mysterio, and they will eventually win the tag titles. And then, the Usos will have the tag titles, and Roman Reigns will have the Universal title. So that's my thoughts on that. I really love the story that they're telling. Cesaro looks strong. I mean, this guy is definitely over. I mean, the reception that I've seen on social media and really my overall reaction, you really want Cesaro to win. Honestly, though, is he going to win? No. I mean, Roman should not lose the title, but I love the fact that they're trying to give you that sense that, hey, Cesaro may win this. And I do believe that Cesaro versus Roman Reigns will be the best match of the pay-per-view on Sunday. So, yeah, that was my SmackDown review. Overall thoughts on SmackDown. This was not the best show in the world. I mean, but it was not horrible. Roman Reigns, Jay Uso, and Jimmy Uso and Paul Heyman are the best, and Cesaro as well. I mean, the match between Cesaro and Jimmy Uso was awesome, but it ended in DQ, as I said before, which sucked, but the ending told the story. But yeah, the show was not that bad, but not that great as well. It was I put it in the middle. It was a good show. But yeah, that was my SmackDown review. So I got my WrestleMania Backlash predictions uploading either later tonight or tomorrow. And, my WrestleMania Backlash review is going to be coming up on Monday. So be on the lookout for that. And please subscribe, comment, push that bell for notifications. And this is Broken Havoc from the Broken Havoc podcast. Signing out.